Hi everyone, my name is King IV and this is Introduction to SQL Part 2. In the previous lesson we covered the basics of how to do the select and from statements, and as well how to do various filters using where, and as well how to join, and then finally how to create a view to help speed up some of your processing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cover a few more advanced options that are available within SQL. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be using, if you haven't checked out my previous video, I recommend that you check them out so we make sure we're all on the same page. So obviously Introduction to SQL 1, and then as well how to recover a .back file. So assuming that you have already done those, what we're going to do first is we're going to use this function called distinct. And what distinct will do is it will show me all the distinct records. So for example, here if I want to know, okay, show me all the distinct salesperson ID. Salesperson ID. I could run that and it will show me all the various salesperson's IDs. Obviously I can include things like first name, and distinct first, nope, I forgot to put a comma here. And then it will include the names of the first names, and we can do all those nice other details as well. Okay, so that's good. So sales distinct select distinct is really useful, especially it helps you understand what the scope of your database is already in a really quick and easy fashion. It took less than 2 seconds to actually have that process. So let's go back here. Let me just rerun this. Okay, so now we have this, right? And by default, it's going to sort it by the primary key of this table, which is, or this view in this case, which is sales ID. But what happens if I want to sort it by, for example, quantity? The way I could do that is to order by, and then say order by quantity, right? Which is going to show me a completely different view. So I'm going to stop this, and then I'm going to rerun it. Now it's going to take a little bit longer to process, but it's going to show me the data sorted by quantity. In this case, by default, it sorts it ascending, which means the lowest to highest, like you're ascending a mountain. When you ascend a mountain, you start at the bottom, then you go towards the top. So that's good. That's handy. And I could sort by a number of different items. So here I could go sort by product ID. Oh, this is a 6.7 million line database and I'm running off my laptop, so it's not going to be necessarily the quickest. So here, when I sort it by quantity and product ID, it's first going to sort it by quantity, then within each quantity value, so example 1, it will then sort it by product ID. But what happens if I wanted the latest product ID to go first? So the way I would do that is I would use this function called DESC, which is descending. So now when I rerun that, just give that a minute. Oh, I need to stop first. I'm going to rerun it. Let's give that a second to run. So now you'll see here within the quantity, it actually sorted by highest of product ID first. So that's useful, very handy, great to know. Okay, so what happens if I, for example, want to know what the sum of my sales are, quantity of my sales are by product ID? Okay, so let's first show how to calculate the quantity. So here, all you have to do is use this aggregation function called sum, and here I'm going to go product ID. I'm going to break this out to a couple lines so we can see it better. And then I'm going to go group by product ID. So let me just stop this. Oh, I forgot to put the comma here. It's because it's a new field. And we'll give that a second to run. So now we'll see here the quantity by product ID, which is really handy. So I'm just going to name this quantity. And then you'll see the name of this. I can also, for example, maybe I, for example, wanted to give me also the average price. I think it's called price. Let me just double check. Yeah, it is called price. And I need to put the comma up here. Now it's not only going to tell me the quantity, but also the average price. So here I'm going to call it as price. And then maybe, for example, I want to also figure out what the quantity times, quantity times price. Let me break this out to the next line. It's easier, a little easier to see. And I'm going to call that as amount. Oh, looks like I forgot to drop the quotation here for some reason. Oh, anyways. Okay, so now I'm going to run that. And now we have the amount, price, and quantity. All these, some of them are quite large figures. And obviously then we can do order by amount descending. And then you'll see the values there. And now it's sorted from highest to lowest, not by product ID, by amount. So that's really useful. Great to know. There's a whole bunch of different other aggregation functions as well. If I, for example, wanted to filter by where the amount was greater than a certain value, then I would use this function called having some. I could probably do a where statement as well. I'll say less than 100,000. Okay, I think I have to move this up here because I have to put it by the group statement. For sometimes it does matter the order that you actually present these statements in. You'll see here that a lot of the ones that are greater there. So maybe, for example, we'll do obviously it's sort of descending or descending. Looks like a lot of these are 0 because the amounts are humongous. And this is not a perfect science. I'm not showing you an example of something that I would do, but this is just exact steps of what I would do. But these are just ways you can leverage the different functions and functionalities. Let me just do greater then. And then you'll see the different prices and quantities multiplied by one another, and these amounts are quite large, which I guess makes sense. If you could also, let's include a count just so we can get an idea of how many transactions there are. Okay, so quite a few per, and the amounts are quite large. So I'm gonna leave it there. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Thank you.